booties for black girl nerds.
Thank you so
Hi.
much for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Rafe, I will start with you. Odysseus is a man that is depicted often in many layers. He's heroic, he's flawed, and deeply human, which we explore in this film. Which aspect of him resonated with you the most?
Well, in this version of the film, he's a man whose sort of soul is carved out. It's dried up. There's a sense of someone on the page, and this is what Uberto, the director, encouraged me to investigate, and I thought it was great, was he hasn't come back with heroic intent to take revenge. He comes back kind of lost. He's there, but should he be there? Can he be there? What does it mean? He doesn't quite know who he is, even. His sense of identity has been really compromised. It's sort of he's what we call PTSD. He's stressed. He's lost a sense of self. His inner self is massively compromised. And I love that. It felt very real to me, as opposed to sort of someone with a determination that comes to him slowly through the film. A key moment for us both is the scene we have meeting each other across the shadows of a fire, where neither of us can quite identify each other. He can't identify himself to his wife, she can't quite identify herself to him, and it's one of the most powerful scenes. We both recognize, I think, that was a key moment. Uberto wanted us to humanize these characters, and if you're playing famous characters from literature, a lot of baggage comes, and our job is to sort of get the baggage away and get to the human essence at the heart of them.
I love that we explore the vulnerable aspect of his identity in this film. And Juliette, for you, how does The Return give Penelope her own agency compared to traditional portrayals of her?
Yes, that was a point of view I really liked in the script, that she is not this perfect wife waiting and having no feeling, just being, always in the hope and in the love. And she's going through a lot because she's raising her child by herself and trying to defend him because he could be killed by the suitors, and she could be raped as well. So, and she has also the needs of being loved, and so you feel that in a subtle way. I think the film is making strong choices for the story, and different choices. And what I like in playing Penelope is that there's underneath a sort of need of dignity, a sort of a almost anger, because he's not, her husband should be with her, and she's by herself, alone, feeling abandoned. And so when they meet for the first time, there are a lot of different layers going on. And so I was able in this film to really give all the aspects of the different emotions, and sharing it with a great actor, it changes everything, because then you go on a journey together as it's going, and it becomes more profound and more exciting. As actors, you're looking for those places like islands, saving, your soul, because it's nourishing. When you do great work, it's nourishing your life, it's nourishing your soul. It changes everything.
Well, it was nourishing for me seeing the two of you back together on screen again in The Return. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Black Girl Nerds. I really appreciate it. And Rafe, I also loved your performance in Conclave.
Thank
Incredible. So thank you so much for your time. A good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie, for taking the time maybe to watch the movie too.
It was a brilliant movie, beautifully done, incredible performances. Uberto, I'm actually going to start with you. Odysseus and Penelope, they're often seen as mythic stereotypes, or archetypes, I should say. How did you work with Rafe and Juliette to help ground their performances in an organic and realistic way?
I think we started with approaching the text, the original, by stripping it of anything that wasn't really naturally universal in terms of husband, wife, family, child stories. So we focused on the oral tradition that fed the original that deals with a soldier coming home. There is no gods, there is no monsters, there is no travels, there's just this family wrenched by war coming together again. And that was the text. That's the text that we discussed. And that's what was attractive to them, not to be mythical archetypes, heroes, but to be human, to be people. To me, these are not characters, they're people. And once that was part of the conversation, then for them, it wasn't Odysseus and Penelope, the great famous people that we know and we heard of from, when we were 5 or 6 at school, but they were a husband and a wife, a father and a mother, and they brought their own experiences of everyday life and a sort of universal understanding of what it means to be human.
And we get to see these very human aspects of these characters. Rafe mentioned in his interview to me about Odysseus, we get to see him as this vulnerable man and not the heroic, stoic Odysseus that we know of from the texts. Charlie, to you, did you research Telemachus? It's so hard for me to say that name. Did you research the portrayal of this god in literature? Or did you focus on the script to help inform your performance?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, as far as the translation, I think it was a conversation I had with Uberto as well as Rafe. There was one more recent translation of the text that I think we were all referring to pretty consistently, and there's an introduction in that text that's a really extensive breakdown of the text. The introduction is probably 25 pages long or something, and that was really wonderful. But it's all just kind of getting different perspectives, and I think sometimes when there's so many ideas out in the world of something, it can almost feel overwhelming, and then there's an expectation to live up to. And so I think in a way what was really wonderful about this was I really did find, with the help of Uberto and Rafe and Juliette, letting go of that, and as Uberto's speaking on, embracing the truth of the humanity of these people in this moment rather than any idea of what should be or what was or any of that stuff, really dropping all of that or just letting that leave the mind and really just meeting these people in this moment. And that was by far the most helpful thing.
Yeah, these performances were just so beautiful and natural and organic, and it felt like it's just something that takes a page from just real life experiences. And I love how grounded it is, the storytelling here. Uberto, back to you. Were there any significant obstacles during production, such as reinterpreting like really iconic scenes while you were filming these really challenging locations that you were in?
I can't think of I'm also the producer. As a writer, director, producer, you're wearing lots of different hats, and usually the producer gives less time to the director than the director wants. But in this case, I told the producer to buzz off. I kept my hat on as a director, and I said, no, I need more time. I need more time because there are moments that need time to give space to the actors to become what they can be for you. When we were writing the script, to us it was very important to keep of the original a few well-remembered moments, situations, a dog dying after waiting for his owner for years for his return, a woman weaving and unweaving, and of course the trial of the axes at the end. But around those moments, what we did build, what we did focus on was the emotional and the psychological relationship between these people. And that's needed time. And I gave myself time, we gave ourselves time. And you mentioned the locations. The locations were not really difficult. The locations fed, I think, the filmmaking and the actors into finding a story which is universal, timeless, but and therefore of the moment, in the way that we decided, as you mentioned before, to strip it down. So it was mad to think about it, and arrogant to think about that we had something to say that Homer had not said, or somebody else had not already said about Homer. But once we started the journey, I think it just was bliss. To me, it was bliss just to watch Charlie and watch Rafe and watch Juliette in front of the camera. It's just a director's dream.
Definitely an actor's dream too.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was a dream for you, Charlie, getting to go toe-to-toe with Rafe in some of those scenes. So beautiful, incredible performances. I just love the fact that these, mythical characters were really grounded, and we got to see a different perspective through this incredible film. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Black Girl Nerds. I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your support.
Thank you so much.
Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.